There's something due any day, I will know right away, soon as it shows. It may come cannonballing down through the sky, gleaming its eye bright as a rose. Who knows? It's only just out of reach, down the block on a beach, under a tree. I got a feeling that a miracle's due, gonna come true, coming to me. Could it be? Yes, it could. Something's coming, something good. If I can wait, something's coming. I don't know what it is, but it is gonna be great. With a click, with a shock, phone'll jingle, door'll knock. Open the latch, something's coming, don't know when, but it soon catch the moon, one-handed catch. Around the corner, or whistling down the river, come on, deliver to me. Just by holding still, it'll be there. Come on, something, come on in. Don't be shy, meet a guy, pull up a chair. The air is humming, and something great is coming. Who knows? It's only just out of reach, down the block on a beach. Maybe tonight, maybe tonight, maybe tonight.
Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Ann Arbor, Michigan. I'm the Reverend Cassandra Hartley, and I have the honor of serving this congregation as executive minister. I'm joined today by the Reverend Manish Mishra-Marzetti, our senior minister, Stella Anderson, our director of spiritual growth and development, Theresa Rohlck, our congregational chaplain and director of the Chalice Bells, Carter Smith, our acting director of music ministries, Allison Halerz, our pianist-in-residence, Mike Halerz, our technology consultant, Greg Peterson, our congregation's vice president, Carly Hildebrandt, who you'll see later, who's coordinator and lead advisor for our YRUU high school class, and Peri Stone-Palmquist, executive director of the Student Advocacy Center of Michigan. If you're new to our congregation, we are so grateful that you've gifted us with your time and presence. If you'd like to learn more about us, you can join us for a special newcomers welcome directly after the service. It's just in the small chapel past the social hall on the right-hand side. You'll get a chance to meet staff and other congregants, ask questions, and help us learn more about you. If you're new and joining us online, we hope you'll introduce yourself in the chat so that we can get to know you more and greet you warmly. We also encourage you to take a survey, our newcomer survey, at UUAA.org/newcomer survey, so that we can learn more about you and help you connect more deeply to the community. Whether you're a newcomer or a long-timer or something in between, we're so grateful that you've joined us for this time together. This is always an especially joyous time of year as the wider community celebrates the beginning of summer, the end of school, graduations, and other special transitions. And this year, many people are celebrating these milestones in person for the first time since the pandemic. This is certainly true in our community as well. Today, directly after the service, we will be celebrating the end of the regular spiritual growth and development year for our children and youth with an ice cream social outside, so we welcome all families to join us. It's a wonderful opportunity to also thank our dedicated volunteer SGD teachers who've made this year possible despite all the many pandemic obstacles and ups and downs. Speaking of volunteers, the summer SGD program will begin next week for nursery through 6th grade, and we still need more volunteers for that. It's a fun and really easy way to connect with the children and give back to our community. So if you'd like to learn more, you can look at our weekly news for more information and a way to sign up. Today, of course, we also celebrate our wonderful graduating high school seniors with this, our annual bridging ceremony. This is a time when our youth cross the bridge out of our children and youth spiritual growth and development program and into the next exciting chapter of their lives. As they cross the bridge, we gather to support them as a community. Martha Dallas, the Director of Religious Education at First Unitarian Universalist Society of Burlington, Vermont, tells a story during bridging ceremony about how, for hundreds of years, the Inca people of South America used to build bridges made out of grass. She writes, "They made fresh bridges once a year. On the appointed day, everyone in the village would gather to begin work. Each person had a special role to play in building the bridge. First, there were the people who gathered the grass. Then other people took that grass and twisted it into long ropes. Then people took those ropes and wove them into thick braids. And those braids were twisted by other people into long cables, as thick as my arm. Certain people strung the cables across the gorge and pulled them nice and tight. And finally, there were the riggers who would lash the cables together in such a way as to create a footbed to walk across and rails on each side to hold. Each person did their part as best they could, and they relied on everyone else to do their part as well, because everyone needed the bridge to safely carry them across the river whenever they had to go that way. We gather here week after week to create a community that we can rely on. We each do our part because each of us brings some need, whether it's to mark a rite of passage, find solace in the midst of grief, draw strength from one another as we work for justice, or offer love and compassion to our fellow travelers. We can't calm the river, but we can do our best to companion one another on the journey. So let us be that companion to one another as we move deeper now into our time together. We are gathered for worship.
Good morning. One of the things we do that help us know we are gathered for worship is to light our chalice, and we do that every time we gather. And the really cool thing is that people, other Unitarian Universalists across Michigan, across the country, even across the world are also lighting chalices, some of them at this very same moment. Today, to light our chalice, I'm going to need a little bit of help, but I also need help from you at home if you're on live stream and you have a chalice or a candle nearby. Please get that and light it with us. And if you want, indicate in the chat that the chalice is lit wherever it is that you are. But here, I'm going to need some help from any children who are, let's say, elementary school or younger. Any of those kids here? You want to come up and help us light? Nobody's in elementary school? There's one. Or younger? Wonderful. And Reverend Cassie can help a little bit with the flame on that one end. Okay, here you are. You're going to form a little mini bridge right here from one flame to the chalice. Yeah, we got it? Okay. So as they pass the flame along this bridge of children, we will say our chalice lighting words together. We're going to wait one moment till we get the flame going. Okay. So as they move the flame across, let's say together, we light this chalice for the light of truth. We light this chalice for the warmth of love. We light this chalice for the energy of action. We light this chalice for the harmony of peace. Thank you. Perfect. Push it down. Thanks. Another thing we do as we gather is to say the words of our covenant. These are words that express how we are in relationship with each other. So if you would, with intention, please speak these words together. The spirit of this church is love, and service is its law. This is our covenant with each other, to dwell together in peace, to search for truth in love, and to help one another. Thank you.
Good morning. Our story today comes from beloved author and illustrator Peter H. Reynolds. I can think of no better introduction than Peter's own words. The North Star is a story for all ages. Whether you are beginning a new journey, have decided to alter the direction of your life, or are starting out for the first time, this book is here to encourage you. Take a moment to slow down to a more thoughtful pace, to ponder, reflect, imagine, and envision. Take the time to believe in your dreams, to celebrate possibility. It is my hope that whatever the North Star may spark in you will continue to shine, both for you and those around you, as you navigate your very own wonderful journey. This is my gift to you. Listen carefully, and you will not hear my voice, but yours. The North Star, written and illustrated by Peter H. Reynolds. A sweet breeze met the boy as he awoke to his journey. He traveled on all fours for quite some time, and he grew. And he paused. One day, he had the urge to stand, to walk. It made his journey easier. He could run, too, but for the most part, he walked. He wasn't afraid of much. He wandered the fields, exploring, sometimes stopping, sometimes going happily in circles, sometimes dancing, sometimes napping. One day, the boy saw an oak leaf drift and land on the water. He wondered how the leaf managed to float, the way the stars seemed to float in the night sky. A spray of sand interrupted his thoughts. "Where are you going in such a hurry?" asked the boy. But the rabbit shot out of sight, disappearing onto a path the boy had never noticed before. The boy left the floating leaf and wandered toward the path. There he saw a cat. The cat purred gently. "Where did the rabbit go in such a hurry?" the boy asked the cat. He was in a rush to start his journey. It's time for you to start your journey, too. "Oh, but I have been on a journey," the boy cried. "I've seen many wonderful things. Some I understand and some I don't, like how that leaf floats on the water." "Well, that's fascinating, but I'd hate for you to be late. You don't want to be left behind." "Behind? Who's ahead of me?" "You wouldn't believe how many. You know, you're not the only one on this journey. Plenty ahead of you, lots to follow." The boy began walking down the path. It stretched out far ahead of him. Signs kept pointing him along the way. Some parts of the journey were easy, and some were difficult. Although he was following the well-worn path, he had a growing feeling that he was lost. The forest seemed to be growing thicker. The soil was wet and muddy, making every step a struggle. Clouds had rolled in overhead, and the darkness closed in around him. After many difficult miles, he could not take another step. He noticed an oak leaf drift from the sky. It sailed with ease. It swirled on a breeze and was carried deep into the forest. The leaf disappeared behind a grove of trees. He stepped off the path to follow it. The boy found the leaf floating on a pond in a peaceful clearing, like a delicate boat on a dreamy voyage. His thoughts were interrupted by a voice. "Oh, there you are. I was worried," said the cat. "Don't wander off like that. Now hurry, you're falling behind." So the boy ran, and ran, and ran. And as he ran, he noticed the forest getting darker and thicker. The muddy ground became covered with water. He could no longer see the path. He sloshed through the swamp until he came to a clearing in the forest. There he saw a bird. "You look lost," the bird said. "I don't think so. I'm not sure if I'm lost," the boy replied. "I really hadn't thought about it." "Hadn't thought about it," said the bird. "You must have some idea of where you're going, yes?" "Well, I've been following the path. It seems as if many people have taken it before me, and there have been many signs along the way, and a very helpful cat guided me back to the path when I started to wander." The crickets fell silent as the bird asked, "But where do you want to be going?" "I'm not sure," said the boy as he looked around at the dark, tangled swamp. "But I do know that this isn't where I want to be. I guess I am lost." The bird said, "Ask yourself where it is you want to go, and then follow the signs you already know." "What signs? Where are they?" But the bird flew off into the cloudy night sky. The boy looked up into the sky, something he had not done in a very, very long time. He tried desperately to see where the bird had gone, and as he did, the clouds seemed to melt, and there above him was a star, a very bright star. The boy stared at the star and felt a pang in his heart, a tingling in his spine, a whisper in his ear. He could hear the star. The voice sounded so familiar. The boy began to walk toward the star. As he did, he noticed many other stars stretched out above him like a great big map. They had been there all along, waiting for him. He stopped and rested a moment, savoring his guiding stars. "What are you staring at?" croaked a voice behind him. "What is up there? What's so interesting?" The boy waded closer and answered, "Stars. I'm looking at the stars." "What stars?" asked the frog. "I see a dark sky and mist and low green clouds." "You don't see them?" the boy asked. "They're helping guide me out of the swamp. Would you like to come with me?" "No, thank you," the frog smiled. "I'm quite at home here in the bog. I swam here as a tadpole and grew up here, and here I will stay." The boy realized at that moment that everyone has a different journey, different signs, and different stars, their own constellations. The boy left the frog, who croaked a farewell. "Good luck on your journey." As he ventured beyond the swampy forest, the boy heard a cry. It was the rabbit, who had been in such a hurry earlier, looking tired and hungry. He was stranded on a limb in the middle of the rushing river. The boy waded out, but realized that the river was too deep. The rabbit was trapped. Then he saw an oak leaf drift by. It gave him an idea. The boy fashioned a boat out of swamp grass and twigs and rescued the rabbit. The boy smiled, having helped make the rabbit's journey easier. The boy looked up. He noticed that the star had become even brighter. He followed the star, and as he did, the muddy ground grew drier, then grassy, then soft and sandy. Finally, he came to rest atop a dune. There, below him, was a beach and a boat. The boy looked out toward the horizon. The star glowed steadily, reminding him that he still had a long journey ahead. But it was his own journey, his very own wonderful journey. The beginning.
Good morning. My name is Greg Peterson, and I'm so happy my journey has brought me here, and I'm honored to serve this congregation as vice president. This morning we continue doing the work of building, maintaining, and caring for the bridges that take us together across the river of life. And we begin our journey today by recognizing the high school seniors who've been connected with our congregation. Bridging is our name for the ceremony that marks the transition of our high school youth into the larger world of work or college and more grown-up responsibilities, the transition from youth to young adulthood. So we begin today with that essential ministry of bridging, and later in the service, we will extend the story of our bridge a bit wider, for we gather in religious community to ensure that none of us make the journey of life alone.
Hello again. My name is Stella Anderson, and it is my honor to serve this congregation as Director of Spiritual Growth and Development. I remember being a teenager. Sort of. Definitely not a kid anymore, but not quite an adult. The deep valleys of self-doubt and self-consciousness, the thrill of first love, and the pain of first heartbreak. The endless questions about what do you want to do with your life? The figuring out of it all. The young people we honor today are embarking on a lifelong journey of self-discovery. It's scary and exhilarating to cross that bridge. Each of them have taken a different path to get here, and today we celebrate another big step. The youth we honor have given so much of themselves to this community. We've asked them to write credos with the guidance of their peers and an adult mentor, and to share them with the rest of us. We've asked them to consider love, marriage, and intimacy, to make themselves vulnerable as they engage in often uncomfortable conversations. We have asked them to lead worship, and we have asked over and over again that they serve the larger community by making and selling apple dumplings to raise funds to buy gifts for kids, providing Halloween fun for the congregation, planting and harvesting at Farmer Bill's, or volunteering to do park cleanup. Beyond their service work, our youth have also challenged our community to consider new ways of thinking and being in the world. In many ways, they have served as our spiritual teachers. And they had the courage and resilience to come back together, even in the midst of an ongoing pandemic. Everyone that is here in person or watching from home, the assembled seniors as well as the wider congregation, has worked to create the programs our youth take part in. And for that, I thank you. I want to especially thank the YRUU advisors who have been in the room helping our youth navigate their individual and collective experiences. Carly Hildebrandt, who served the group as YRUU coordinator and lead advisor, Jeff Polliner, Kate Van Horn, and JJ McKillop. Thank you for laying Thank you for laying an outstanding foundation for the YRUU community. I invite you to stand with me here as we bid goodbye to our bridging seniors.
As a gift from this congregation, each young adult will receive a copy of our gray UUAA hymnal, Singing the Living Tradition, which has been signed by the ministers and by our Director of Spiritual Growth and Development. We hope this will remind you of your religious heritage, and we hope the wisdom in this book will be your companion and guide as your journey continues to unfold. Each young adult will also receive a chalice created by Ingrid Gunderson, a talented artist and a member of our congregation. This gift is to help remind our graduates of their home congregation and to remind them that our love and our faith will travel with them on the next steps of their journey. Finally, each senior will receive a copy of a book called Becoming, a spiritual guide for navigating adulthood. It's a collection of essays written by Unitarian Universalist youth and young adults. Editor Kayla Parker writes in the preface of this book, "I hope that the writings in this book will speak to you and become your companions in this unpredictable life. May they speak to your heart and to your soul and move with you throughout your days." Every word in these pages was written or chosen by people who want you to know that you're not alone. We are all becoming. We wrote, compiled, and edited this volume not only to share our own truths, but to be next to you as you discover your own. To prepare for our bridging ceremony, I invite any children, any younger members of our community that would like to help hand out gifts to come to this side over here by the table and stand near Reverend Theresa.
Now, graduating seniors, it's time to make that transition into the next step of your life's journey and into a new relationship with this congregation. As the names are called, please come forward and greet your YRUU advisors and Stella. And then please make your way across our symbolic bridge, representing your movement from a YRUU youth to a young adult in our wider congregation. Reverends Manish and Theresa and Board Representative Greg Peterson are waiting to greet you on the other side, along with our community's children, to present you with your gift. Now, unfortunately, only one member of our high school senior graduating class could be with us, and we're so excited that she's here. But I invite you, as I read each name, to congratulate them with our applause, because many of them will be watching later in the on live stream. So I'd like to invite forward Yvette Boyce-Pecor. I'd also like to recognize Maya Baum-Faris. Darren Hood. Luke Packard. And April Grace.
Can you hear me? I would now like to invite Mirren Hartley Bean, Isaac Van Kempen, and Daisy Anderson to help us bless our bridging seniors, to join me here on the steps. This Milestone of Your Life by Reverend Dr. Rita Capesi.
No matter how far you travel, if you don't travel at all, you are the cusp of a new life.
People will expectations of you. People you love have expectations of you, both spoken and unspoken. This you already know.
May you know, too, that you carry within you a spark of the universe creating itself. That spark connects you all to all that is, to all that was, and all that will ever be.
The spark is always there in you, always there bringing you into being, always a force of creativity and possibility, especially when the expectations of others overwhelm or disappoint you.
When you doubt yourself or feel afraid, when you fail, as we all do at times, remember that spark, always there, sustaining you and revitalizing you, like the love you find in this faith community.
We are a home for you. We are always a home for you. Your community is here for you. Blessings upon you and upon this milestone of your life.
Thank you. Thank you, and thank you to Mirren, Isaac, and Daisy for leading our blessings. You may return to your seats, everyone.
Hello. Crossing a bridge is scary. You can look out over unfamiliar landscape beneath you and worry that it will all come crashing down. And in your life, you will make bridges that are unstable. You'll venture to places that are a mistake. But from here, you get to choose where your bridge goes. You are the designer, the architect, the engineer of your life. Though some advice, it helps to ask for help. Through your life, you will find people who will help you build your life to what you want it to be. And they will walk with you on the way. Treasure these people when you find them. Don't take them for granted. Oh, and you are lucky enough right now to have a big room full of saps. They'll probably help you if you ask. And if you find yourself far away and alone, find a UUAA church near you and check it out. Just know that we are still your home congregation. You'll bring a part of us with you wherever you go. And I couldn't be happier than to be sending you all out as our ambassadors.
I'm delighted to invite to the podium Executive Director of the Student Advocacy Center of Michigan, Peri Stone-Palmquist, who also happens to be an old friend of mine. Please join me in extending Peri a warm welcome.
Hello, can you hear me? What a perfect Sunday for me to be here. Student Advocacy Center exists so we can have these kind of milestones for all of our students, all of our young people in our community. We believe education is a right and that every child is worthy of a quality education. But here's what's actually happening. Those bridges that we just talked about, not to bring the mood down, but they're often disrupted for many of our young people. In Michigan, every school day, 7 students are expelled from school with no right to ever return. Many, many more are suspended, and more recently are just unilaterally placed in virtual school, which many of us know from last year wasn't the best. We know that 9,000 students drop out in Michigan every school year. for a whole host of complex reasons. And some students are impacted more than others. So homeless or formerly homeless students are 4 times more likely to be suspended or expelled in Michigan. Black students are suspended or expelled at 3 times the rate of white students. And the dropout rate is nearly double for students with disabilities. But we are honored at Student Advocacy Center to stand beside those students, offering advocacy, support, mentoring, community organizing, really whatever it takes to change the system, and hopefully in that process, maybe change the student a little bit too, and help them be more engaged in school, find a path that will work for them, to learn and to grow and to heal, and to walk that bridge that we just talked about, right, and graduate. That's our mission. We have a continuum of services. We are known for our school discipline work. We have a statewide helpline this school year, which is, this is my 10-year anniversary at Student Advocacy Center. But our statewide helpline this year serves the most students than we ever have in our 47-year history. Last I looked, and we have a couple more weeks left of the year, we were at around 580 students. We have more intensive services in our communities where we have offices. So Washtenaw County, our office is in Ypsilanti, very purposefully. We have an office in Detroit and an office in Jackson. And so in those 3 communities, we might have an advocate who can actually meet with you and work with you and go to school meetings and really support through those school discipline hearings, but really just also building a relationship with our young people. Being suspended or expelled brings a lot of shame and frustration and loneliness. We have really hurt young people and families coming to us. And then more intensively, we have an evidence-based mentoring program where we work with young people every single week for at least 2 years and often 3 or 4 years. So if you want to be inspired, please go to our YouTube channel and you can see some stories. Just had a great story of a young person we worked with for 5 years who just graduated. He was expelled in 8th grade. He was pushed into online school. He talks about all of that, and he graduated. And then we've been doing community organizing work because it's great, and we listen to the stories, and we help individual students, but we have systems that need to change to be more responsive to all children. It's a social justice issue. And just to end, I wanted to share a couple quotes because we're all about student voice. I'd much rather have a young person telling you about our work than me, but here are 2. This is from, I believe, a parent. You were hands-on with us and involving us every step of the way, and communication was just wonderful. His school drive just rocketed. You can be in this foster care situation and just fall into it, but he turned around to fight for his success. After you got involved, it's just the confidence for him. And then the last quote is, this is for one of our students in our mentoring program. I didn't want to go to school. It just felt like a dead end to me. When I met you, it kept me on track because you constantly asked me about school, and it showed me that people really wanted to see me graduate and make something of my life. I wanted to stay out of jail and not be a person who goes in and out of jail. With you around, it keeps me on track. That's our work, is to help those students make it to that bridge, make it to the other side, to heal and to grow and to feel loved. We're honored to be here today, and I'll be out afterwards and happy to answer any questions you have. We have a little bit of materials that I brought with me. This is my children's last week of school, so it's been a week. But happy to be here. And really grateful for the support that this congregation has given for many years for Student Advocacy Center and our young people, so thank you.
Thank you so much, Peri, for sharing this important information with us this morning. This morning, we have an opportunity to share our collection with the Student Advocacy Center of Michigan. I would invite you to take a moment to consider what gifts you are able to give to help them to fulfill their mission and vision. And if your gifts are a financial one, I would invite you to use our text to give option by texting UUAA to 73256 and selecting Share Collection for the fund. You can also visit uuaa.org/giving, or you can place checks or cash in the baskets as our ushers come forward now to collect this morning's offering. However you give, thank you for your generosity and for your commitment to this community and all that we're building together. Thank you. Thank you so much, Rachel, for sharing your gifts and providing our music for our offering this morning. And now I would invite you to rise in body or spirit as we dedicate our offering. To the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our lives and these our offerings. Thank you.
There are so many bridges that each of us may cross in our lives. Deaths and births, adoptions, illnesses, recoveries, partnerships and separations, weddings and divorces, moves, job changes, aging, retirement, graduations, and so much more. Through all the highs and lows, we gather together so that we may be the bridge for one another through times of change. Change and its power touches everyone in a community. In this time of transformation within this congregation and in the wider world, clergy, staff, and laity alike are called to explore essential truths, honor feelings of grief, and celebrate possibility. We minister, we support, we care for one another.
We invite you now to mark your own bridgings. Greg and Stella will stand over here on the Chalice side, and Reverend Manish and Reverend Cassie will stand over here on the piano side to anchor each side of our symbolic bridge. Take a moment and think about an event you want to recognize, big or small, celebratory, sad, or complicated. Like the youth moving into young adulthood, what changes are happening to you, within you, or around you that call you over this bridge? Whether you are here in the sanctuary or on live stream, take a few moments to consider what bridging might mean to you right now in your life. For those on live stream, your presence as part of the UUAA community matters, as you will witness the bridging that will be indicated in the chat. As you feel comfortable, you may simply type bridging in the chat and hold that reason in your heart, or you may indicate what your life event is. For example, you could type in, "I'm beginning a new job." We will gather your responses and add them to the large whiteboard in the social hall, where we will collect all of our bridging events. For those here in the sanctuary, similarly, you may remain seated to witness and be present for others in the community, or you may come up front and cross the bridge of support. It's the in-person version of typing in the chat. All of you are welcome. Anyone, even children, are going through transitions. All of you have just moved from a different grade in school to another one, so you are welcome to join the bridge. As you cross, if you wish, you may tell the ministers what you are crossing for, but you may also hold that in your heart. Whether or not you cross the bridge in front, all are welcome to share with the community by adding your own event on a little sticky note and putting it on the whiteboard that's in the social hall after the service. You can think of it as a written space for joys and sorrows in a way. The ushers will now come forward and pause at each row. If you wish to cross the bridge, if you're on this side, we ask that you go towards the back, towards Hannah, across, and then up this aisle. And if you're on this side, you'll join into the line this way. So we ask if the ushers will have you go one row by row. Please feel free to come and cross the symbolic bridge and then return to your seat. Thank you. Thank you all. No matter how you participated in the bridging ceremony, remember that you are in the company of those who wish you well. As a community, we remain together and supportive of each other in times of change and uncertainty. Thank you.
A reading from the book that we have gifted our graduating seniors, the book entitled Becoming, a Spiritual Guide for Navigating Adulthood. This is a poem, benediction of sorts, entitled Beyond Borders by Hoyt. Go forth because we are always going forth from somewhere. Going from our homes, our childhoods, going from our cities and countries, going from innocence to experience and enlightenment, going into mystery and questions, going into the desert, getting to the other side. Go forth, leave behind the comfort and community of one place, head into the anxiety and loneliness of another. Carry with you the love and laughter of this place and let it light your way. Carry with you the wisdom you have learned and the good memories. May they give you strength for your journey. And when you have been away long enough, far enough, done what you'd set off to do, been there so long that place too starts to feel like home. Come back. Come back to the one universal, everywhere and every when and every one, inclusive home. This beloved community of all creation that you can never really leave behind.
Our music for going forth this morning is number 1020 from the Teal Hymnal. I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we join together in singing number 1020, Woyaya. We are going, heaven knows how we are going, but we know within that we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Woyaya, 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 woyaya. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going, but we know within that we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Woyaya, woyaya, woyaya,
Dear friends, your North Star is out there. Listen and look closely with open minds and open hearts. It's been there all along to guide you on your very own wonderful journey. As we extinguish this chalice, remember to hold on to your dreams, because dreams can change the world. Go now in the spirit of love and possibility.